4 former Brexit Party MEPs, Annunziata Rees-Mogg, who is of course the sister of Jacob Rees-Mogg, the Tory Conservative leader of the House of Commons, John Longworth, who of course worked on and was a front person for Dominic Cummings' Vote Leave campaign back in 2016, Lucy Harris and Lance Foreman, are revealing a letter today that they have sent Nigel Farage saying that they are resigning the whip, the Brexit Party whip in Brussels, and they are going to release a video to tell everybody that if they want to get Brexit done, then the best way to do that is to vote Conservative and not, of course, for Nigel Farage's Brexit Party. The Brexit Party, incidentally, have sent some press officers down to this press conference to, well, as one put it to me, to troll those 4 MEPs. But they're insisting, the Brexit Party are insisting for their part, get this, James, that they couldn't be more specific in the seats that they were prepared to target by standing down candidates, because if they were to do so, having already spent a certain amount of money on this election campaign, they would breach the spending limits, and therefore, by breaching the spending limits, they could all end up in jail. So that's why, that is the Brexit Party, that is the Brexit Party defence.
Is it true? Forgive me for cutting straight to the chase.
It is true, yes, it does.
Oh, good, I mean, truth is good. I don't want anyone to end up in jail, necessarily.
No, it is true, because, of course, there is a limit to how much you can spend per constituency.
Oh, I see.
And if you reduce
they've already
the number of
spent so much.
constituencies,
Divide money spent by number of constituencies you're fighting, and if the divisor goes down enough, then the figure becomes problematical, indeed criminal.
Exactly, and they're in a Brexit Party aren't seeing these resignations as being particularly malicious. They don't think that any of the 4 MEPs were plants into the Brexit Party. This is from the Brexit Party's point of view, but they are questioning the timing, a week out from the general election, about why they're deciding to do it right now, and the inference from that would be to have maximum impact on a Thursday in Westminster, when people are starting to crystallise their views that even Brexit Party MEPs who had previously been loyal to Nigel Farage think that Boris Johnson has got a great deal with the European Union and we should leave on the terms of that deal.
Right. Do we know what Mr Farage thinks about events?
Mr Farage, we do know what he thinks about events. He's trying to question, and I'm sure there'll be some questions in this press conference, about what each of those former MEPs have been offered in order to jump ship. So he wants to know why they've decided to jump ship. What have they been given? Are there promises of peerages, knighthoods?
Which would also be illegal.
That would also be illegal, yes. Or they're trying to determine, or perhaps other loyalties. And Nigel Farage wants to know why they've decided to resign the whip right now.
11. So they'll still get paid in the interim.
Yes, they're still MEPs.
Right.
They just resigned the whip. So the Brexit Party is
any mention of voters? I mean, have they said anything about voters, these 4 people? The people who actually voted for them to be Brexit Party MEPs?
Brexit Party MEPs.
Yes.
No. So they haven't said anything about the voters. So if you voted for those candidates, they will now, so you know how you are being represented, they are now independents within the European Parliament, and they do not have to follow the whip and the decision making that Nigel Farage and his team dictate in the European Parliament, so they can do whatever they like.
Dictate? Surely democratic
well, you know,
process.
they have a committee and they decide how they're going to vote on any particular issue.
Would you be terribly offended if I asked whether or not this is quite as important as some of the news coverage is suggesting?
What, in terms of real people's lives?
Also in terms of, I mean, can't really speculate unduly about electoral arithmetic, but it feels more like another story about process than policy.
So I think in elections, James, isn't there usually a divergence between the issues that matter to people and then the issues that politicians say that matter to people?
Yes.
And that often it might be in the interests of certain political parties to say that something is really important when it's not particularly important, but they know it's actually quite effective at getting people to vote in a certain way.
I think
and so
I
that
understand.
they will. So actually people will vote in a certain way on a particular issue that has very little effect on their actual day-to-day lives, while ignoring the issues that actually do affect their day-to-day lives.